Okay, welcome to the project setup lesson. We're going to begin by setting up the table of contents for your project. For that you need the 5 major section names that make up this project, and you can find them on this screen here on Moodle. Background investigation, analysis and deliverables, design and planning for implementation, testing and documentation of the solution, and evaluation. These are the 5 major stages that you will document in this project. So let's get those typed into Microsoft Word. Okay, so the next job, once you've got the 5 section headings, is to look at the initial section, background investigation, and find out the sections, the subsections that will be included within it. Okay, now to do that you need to log back onto Moodle. So if we go back down here, back down to Moodle, and if you scroll to the background investigation section and click on that, you'll see the top file within the background investigation section is this guide. Okay, and this is the first thing you need to do every time we start a new section, because when you download this guide, you can find out all the section headings in that particular section. So if I click on here, background investigation, you can see that that is made up of introduction, the current system, the client, etc. Okay, so these are all the subheadings for this particular section, and that's the same for each major section of the project as we go. Just one word of warning with this first one: this section here isn't the client, just the client. If you scan through, and this is worth double checking this when you do this for later sections, the full title is client, users and audience. Okay, so I'm just going to type them into my Word document now. Okay, so I've typed up those subsection headings underneath my background and investigation section. It's time to do the table of contents. Okay, and hopefully this is just a bit of a refresh on last year. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is grab all these headings at the moment, and I'm just going to turn them into heading 1 font. Okay, heading 1 font. The second thing I need to do then is change some of these into heading 2. Okay, because obviously some of these titles are not as important as the overall section headings. So to do that, I'm going to highlight the 5 that make up background investigation, because these are subheadings of that, and to select their importance, I'm going to click on heading 2 there. Okay, so these are now in heading 2 style. Okay, the other thing that I'm going to set up, which is important again for getting those project marks for producing a professional report, is the automated numbering system as well. Okay, and again, if you remember, you want to choose this option down here where it scans through your document and it numbers everything by the heading style that you've given that particular piece of text. Okay, so when I click on that, you can see I've got the automated numbering system going on now. Okay, the last kind of step of this then is to produce the table of contents. So if I just shift all that down onto the second page and click back here. To do this, you need to go to your reference tab at the top, and if you remember from last year, you've got the table of contents option over here, and you can just put in a automatic table at a click of a button like that. Okay, just remember in terms of updating the table, so obviously once your project begins to fill up with stuff, so if I move all that onto page 2, if you need to update it, just click on it once, update table, update the entire table, and press OK. Okay, and you can see down there the page number for analysis has moved on. Do this regularly as you work your way through the project, because problems can occur. Okay, so just always, once you've done a new section, always refresh your table, make sure that that's still doing its job properly, because it becomes a bit of a nightmare if it's not. Okay. Good. The last part of the table of contents then, and this is quite an important bit, because what I don't want to have is 20 projects that all have the same heading styles and look to them. Is decide on the style for your project, and if you remember to do that, all your options for that are around here. Okay, so if I go down to style set, you've got the fonts that you're going to use. Okay, so pick the fonts that you want to use. You've also got the colour scheme that you can think of, so the colour scheme that you might want to apply to your project report, the main font that's going to run throughout this report as well. Okay, just please make sure that you have minimum font for your normal writing at being at least 10. Okay, so minimum 10 in terms of font size, probably maximum 12. Yeah, okay, so set up your style, choose your colour set and your font, and that's the contents page pretty much set up. Just the final thing with this is obviously when you start writing, so for example later this week when you start writing your introduction, always make sure that your normal font is selected there, otherwise it could get pulled into that contents page table when you refresh it. Okay, but that is the basic setup done with that. Okay, and the next bit of setup that we just need to look at quickly then, and this is just stuff around page numbers and the headers and footers, again, that you need to have set up in your report. So let's start with the page numbers first, and if you go to insert, and you've got page numbers on here somewhere, oh yeah, there it is, and you want to have them at the bottom of the page and in the right hand corner. Okay, and that just makes it easier for me when I'm marking it, to be honest. Okay, but again, you can have a play around with the styles there if you want. I'm just going to select that one, so I've got my page number in. In terms of headers and footers, let me just tell you what needs to go into those as well. So if we go back to the insert menu, we're going into header. Let's take that one first, shall we? So name needs to be there. Okay, Barnsley College needs to be there. Okay, and finally centre number needs to be there. And candidate number as well. Okay, you can spread these across the header or the footer in whatever way that you like. Okay, you don't necessarily have to have all of it along the top line, but it does need to be, this information does need to be in either the header or the footer of your report. Okay, and so the final part of this project setup and getting it underway is just to put in the cover page. So all I've done is move the contents page onto the second page now, okay, and updated it, and then to insert an automated cover page based on a template and the styles that you've chosen so far. If you click on insert, and then you see here you've got the option for cover page in the top corner. Choose a style obviously that you like, and that's going to kind of run throughout the whole of your report. Okay, and then I guess the key information that goes on the cover page is kind of similar to what's in the header and the footer. Okay, so make sure that that's all there, but also the title of the project, I would name it after the particular business that you're doing it for, and the type of ICT system that you're doing it for as well. Okay, so I don't know, let's try and pick a project, Alan's Taxis spreadsheet system. Okay, or spreadsheet project. It doesn't matter too much, but that just gives you an idea about what needs to go in there as well. Okay, and that's the basic project setup stuff done.